Welcome to this presentation on organizational leadership in social work practice. My name is Drury, and on behalf of myself and Ananisi Williams, we welcome you to this presentation. First, we want to provide an overview of what we're going to be discussing in the remainder of this video. First of all, we're going to provide a definition of key terms to help us understand some context of organizations and also the distinct nature of organizational leadership in social work practice. Secondly, we will discuss an organizational leadership model that will hopefully be helpful for you in future practice to adopt in your leadership roles. Next, we will present 5 key components of effective organizational leadership, followed by 7 leadership competencies that are important in all leadership, but especially in organizational leadership as we're discussing it today. And then we will end with a conclusion. So when we set out to define key terms, the first question we ask ourselves is, what is an organization? Certainly most social workers probably have a definition of an organization based upon their agency experiences, and those definitions might be varying to certain degrees. For the purpose of this presentation, we want to stick with the simple definition according to Long, Tice, and Morrison, 2006, which states that an organization is a group of people intentionally organized to accomplish a common goal or set of goals. The definition of organizational leadership, therefore, is a dual-focus management approach that works toward what is best for individuals and what is best for the group as a whole simultaneously. Organizational leadership consists of those in management who provide inspiration, objective oversight, and other administrative services to an agency or business. Organizational leadership serves as a guide to prioritize objectives for those within the agency so goals are achievable. In order to be effective in guiding others, one must take on leadership role, which can be done from the top, middle, or bottom. What this means is that any person within the organization can step up to the plate and assist everyone in determining the vision. Having a vision within the agency allows everyone to gain a sense of what the agency is going to do and how they will maintain their existence by following the set goals they have established. Visions give direction for an organization. According to Blanchard and Stoner, 2004, vision and direction are essential for greatness. In world-class organizations, everyone has a clear sense of where their enterprise is going. Only when the leaders of an organization know that their people understand the agreed-upon vision can they attend to strengthening the organization's ability to deliver on this vision. This model serves as a format to follow when it comes to organizational leadership. The model shows that it is acceptable that conflict may arise within working with groups. In order for effective team building to occur, communication will be key. Creating an environment that allows for exchanging ideas and creating plans that assist in forming the vision of where the agency wants to go. In the process of strategic planning, a lot of thinking will be taking place, so it is important that as professionals we apply our critical thinking skills. Nosich 2012 defines critical thinking as thinking about your thinking while you're thinking in order to make thinking better. This skill allows one to analyze their thought process and be conscious of the numerous ideas that are taking place. Move to the middle section, it deals with action. Working within a group is important to build on everyone's strengths who are involved. We can incorporate the strengths perspective when it comes to organizational leadership. According to Finn and Jacobson, 2008, quote, "The perspective promotes belonging, healing, and relationship building through dialogue and collaboration. If collaboration is present, then it motivates everyone to be involved for the action phase. For development and understanding to take place, it is important to remember that just because the term leadership is involved in organizational leadership, it does not require only one person taking the lead. Oftentimes in the professional setting, everyone does not have the opportunity to be involved, which can be ineffective in the ultimate goal. Having involvement from all brings different perspectives and knowledge and assists in creating a teaching and learning environment. If one does take on the role of leading a group, they have to give everyone power with, not over. When people feel as if they are not being heard, then it affects their performance within the team. In order for organizational leadership to be effective, there are 5 key components that must be present. These are, first, worldview. This is having each individual develop an understanding of their beliefs, values, attitudes, and opinions, and how they interact with the world. We discuss often how social workers view things from a holistic approach that allows one to see things from various lenses. Having a sense of how the world affects an organization allows an understanding on how it can be conflicting to those within the organization. Second, very important to capitalize on strengths within a group. The leader needs to be aware of what skills, knowledge, and talents each individual brings to the team. The point is to decrease the present weakness so that progress may be made. Next is ethics. Ethics require us being able to decipher right versus wrong. The person in a leadership role should be aiding as an example to others on how one should behave so that it may govern the group's behavior. Effective communication requires an understanding of the VABES, or values, assumptions, beliefs, and exceptions, of those with whom we communicate. Understanding someone's worldview and VABES enables leaders to acknowledge but look past differences, focus on areas of agreement, and to effectively listen for and hear the messages of others. The point is to limit any barriers that may interfere with the completion of a task or end result. And the last competency, is leadership. It is not always easy to be in a leadership role. Those who serve as a leader within a group should provide fairness, honesty, respect, and be accountable. Leaders are to empower individuals and ensure that growth is taking place amongst all. If a leader does not display the qualities in which he or she requests among the other staff, then it can create a toxic working environment. Bailey and Oley 2008 identify 7 leadership competencies. These include authenticity, humility, empathy, courage, faith, patience, and love. First of all, authenticity. Authenticity involves leaders being able to be fully aware of themselves and to practice leadership from a place of self-awareness. They realize that they have certain leadership skills that are unique to them, and they capitalize those skills rather than trying to be something that they aren't. Through this authentic self-knowledge, the leaders develop the strength to use their abilities with full potential and integrity. Humility, related to authenticity, requires the leaders to be grounded and centered in order to accept both praise and criticism, and realize that they play an intricate part in serving the organization as an interconnected web. And so the leader with humility doesn't lead by using that power over, as is described in Finn and Jacobson, but rather that power with, that we are part of the same team. And so I'm not valuing myself above the organization, but rather as a part of the organization. The third is empathy. Empathy requires mindfulness and moment-to-moment awareness so that the leader remains grounded and is able to look beyond themselves and to put themselves in the shoes of others within the organization. And so they open up their mind, they open up their heart to actually get to know others on a deeper level. Fourth is courage. Courage is required in leadership because, as we all know, in social work practice, the goals that we set in organizations and in social work practice often come with a great amount of opposition that can be from those within or without the organization. So it's important for a leader to be able to recognize the vision and the goal and to be able to stand up for what is right. The next is faith. Bailey 2006 describes the faith of leadership is about living with uncertainty and trusting that all that happens serves a higher good, and there is a lesson to be learned in every pleasure and every pain. And so faith in leadership is about looking beyond the difficulties that are going on within the organization and perhaps the weaknesses, and to look forward into future possibilities, which connects to our understanding of social work. In Finn and Jacobson, one of the framework is possibilities. And so a great leader within an organization is able to look past those barriers and to see what is possible within the organization for the mission that the organization has set before it. Sixth is patience. The patience of leadership applies to, this is important for both the self and to others. And so a good leader is able to be patient with oneself and to recognize that he or she is, a work in progress and is continually learning as they participate in the activities and the goals and the task of the agency. And so a good leader is patient with him or herself. But they are also patient with others and recognize that, every single person is at a different place in their professional development. And so they serve more as mentors to these to people and organizations, and have patience with them to guide them from one point to another. And lastly is love, perhaps something that we don't think about in organizational leadership, but it is very important. And we're talking about the kind of love that accepts people just because they exist, regardless of their identities, actions, or associations. And so this kind of love accepts the people within the organization and values them for who they are. That kind of core social work value of the worth and dignity of the person comes out in this characteristic. And love really captures and encapsulates all of the other competencies that I have just discussed, all the other 6, and that love encapsulates authenticity, humility, empathy, courage, compassion, faithfulness, and patience. And so all of these come together in the practice of valuing people within the organization. And I don't think that there is enough that can be said about this particular competence in social work practice.